All right, good morning, cyber traders. Welcome on back here to a brand new week. I just said to all of us inside Cyber Group, I'm trying very hard not to say Monday. I'm just making that a very apparent right now because today is Tuesday, September 7th, first day of the week, though, coming off Labor Day weekend. Great to see all of us live inside the Cyber Group room. Andrea, Leda, got Renzo, Debbie, got Grant, Kathleen, Ed, a couple of us who did really well earlier this morning on the stock ADAP. And alongside them, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live and YouTube, welcome on back. So Fausto's doing a little business in Florida, not on vacation. I don't know if I'll be covering him for the whole week, but you got me here for this morning and obviously for this afternoon. So all day today, I look forward to it, folks. And really, I say that because, you know, coming off Friday, it was a long birthday weekend for me, Labor Day weekend. I don't exactly remember a lot of Friday night, which, you know, hey, happens to the best of us, right? But nonetheless, I'm ready to trade. I'm focused. I'm ready to go today. 3 days off or, so forth. So my mind's cleared. I'm good to go here, folks. I'm excited to trade here. I ended up missing a couple of moves, though, earlier today. We'll talk about that coming up in the Traders Talk workshop, our live Tuesday Q&A workshop we conduct inside the Cyber Group room. But for right now, the RNXT trade, I guess one that I also missed, but popped right before the morning meeting started here, ended up making a pop roughly from 1150. The breakout level squeezed up to just about 1225. So easily enough, we're going to put this on our morning list. It was on our pre-market list, for a stock to be up, 48, 50% and plus a lot more early on in the morning. Definitely we're going to, be more keen to watch it and anticipate maybe a pullback after the market opens up, profit taking still. And then from that point, perhaps we'll anticipate a higher high. So the thing on this stock is that it looks like, relatively new IPO. It ended up making a big pop going back into the end of the month in August, pop from roughly really like 750-ish, $8 maybe, but it broke out over 10, flew all the way up towards just over 16. The following day came back down. What's the news on this RNXT trade? I'm just going to check really quickly. My dyslexia kicking in. RNXT. There we go. All right, so RNXT trading higher after the company announced it received a new 510K clearance for its new delivery system. I guess catheter, I don't know, designed for targeted treatment of solid tumors. That's all I'm reading there. But nonetheless, hey, news is out, and that's good, right? You'd want to see news out in order for us to trade a stock. That's not always the case, but, news is a great catalyst, obviously. So either way, getting a nice push here, building a bit of a pennant. So, just be more careful for this trade heading into the market open, but we'll definitely put this on our list to begin. All right, so I made the same damn mistake as I do when I cover Fausto. I always drink my coffee early. So right before the meeting started, I ended up just refilling. So I think I should be good to go, but I'll try and make it brief, though. So with that in mind, what we'll basically do coming off the long weekend, off on Monday, and personally, I was out Friday afternoon. I know there are a couple of stocks that you folks in the Cyber Group room ended up doing really well on, the mile trade at least here. Give me a quick sec. Folks, quick sound check. Let me know, can you folks hear me inside the trading room? Test 1, 2. Uh-oh, I may be mute for them in the room. Give me a quick sec. Tech issues here. Let's see. All right, so I just did a sound test. I should be good now for all of us in Cyber Group. Now I know I'm good. All right, so folks inside Cyber Group, later just private chatted me there. It looks like I was just mute for a moment. I don't know what happened. Maybe it might be a tech issue, a wire issue on my end. So I'm going to try and make it quick so that doesn't happen again, of course. I was just briefly saying the RNXT trade we're going to put on our list to begin. News came out, and hopefully this ends up making a higher high. For right now, though, I mean, hey, for the long weekend that we ended up having, what we'll do is go from top to bottom. For anything else that we traded on Friday, I know there was one that you folks in the afternoon did really well on. I think that was the Mile stock, MILE. We'll talk about that perhaps, but we'll start off otherwise on this IRNT trade. Not number one, but number two right now. I'll break up Nzinga Pro again here to see what the news is on this trade. Yeah, folks, if the audio drops off again, just let me know inside the trading room. Should be good to go still on YouTube, but nonetheless, for the IRNT trade, just looking on the Benzinga Pro for the news on this. See, this is the difference because there was news out on the RNXT trade. That's going to trip me up. But for this one, IRNT, there's no given headline. There's no given news out. Actually, the only given news out was dating back to September 7th, that being today. All it says here is that just, stocks being discussed on Wall Street Bets, the Reddit channel. That's it. So, yeah, Martha just said IRNT may be a meme stock, so to say, just being discussed on Benzinga Pro and Reddit and Wall Street Bets, that big channel on Reddit that is. So, yeah, easily enough, hey, we'll put this on our list, but look at how much this stock had popped up over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't really recall us really following the stock as much. I mean, it looks like it had a couple of larger volume days even. Maybe you folks caught it going into the close or going into the after hours on Friday last week when I was out, but yeah, I'll put it on our list, but damn, I would be really careful on this trade. All right. So, there were a couple of other stocks that we ended up calling out and those that were more tradable, perhaps. I know that there was one LEXX here. I'm going to jump ahead. LEXX. This one ended up making a squeeze up shortly after 8:40 Eastern time, pop from 7:25, 7:30, ended up making a 50-cent move, right? So one of us had called it out at the time, and I'd said, I'd rather follow the other stock that I had called out pretty much at the same time. Both had popped and moved. This one, it ended up, dumping off shortly afterwards. If it ended up continuing to go up, hey, God bless, we would have continued to have called it out. And we'll talk more about this one here in our Traders Talk workshop later on this morning. And that's what I was alluding to. So why was I harping on this trade so much at the same time as the LEXX trade, as that was popping? We'll talk about that in full coming up at 11 a.m. Eastern time here. But hey, the ADAP stock ended up making a pretty nice move up. It's dumping back down now a little bit. But, hey, long story short, the abridged answer is that the liquidity was a lot better on the order book for this ADAP trade here compared to LEXX. It was at least a lot easier to manage. Now, there was a lot more to it than that. And again, I look forward to speaking to you folks inside Cybergroup in our Traders Talk workshop later this morning. But for right now, we'll put both on our list, right? How can we not put both on our list to begin? Hopefully the LEXX trade makes a higher low and then pops shortly after the market opens. ADAP here is shortable. So if it ends up totally crapping out this stock, then perhaps it could be even a great short trade. So for right now, both the LEXX stock number 9 right now on the list, and then the ADAP here number 5. I guess I was even jumping ahead over the MTL, huh? MTL here ended up making a nice little gap up this morning. I don't know if there's news out on this stock still at this point. I didn't really see much from last week. Yeah, I don't really even see much, folks. If anything, it looks like maybe Q2 results, but that was back from a week ago. So there hasn't really been much on the stock since, but a really strong, pre-market this morning, of course, up over 38% right now. It looks really flat, almost looks like a buyout. It looks like buyout flat. I know it's not. If it was, we would have seen the news out at least on Benzinga Pro. They're definitely good on that. But either way, yeah, we'll put this MTL on our watch list. How could we not, right? Cheap stock rate, liquidity in pre-market, 20,000 share order on the bid. Actually, a couple of them now showing. There was one at 434 early in the pre-market that we had called out, and for what it's worth, it's not go much of anywhere, but shortly after we had called it out after 8 a.m., that's when it started to push up, to begin. So hopefully there's more to this trade. And then if not, if it ends up crapping out the other way, then hey, again, much like ADAP, at least we can try and short it and try and, fill the gap on the way down, perhaps. All right, so we got a decent list so far, folks, for a Tuesday morning coming off Labor Day. I mean, really, typically Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you'll see more news come out. But, I'll tell you, coming off a holiday and then coming off the summer, it's not instant where everyone's back to work, everyone's trading. It's usually a couple to few week transition. You got the Jewish holidays coming up, Rosh Hashanah, Shana Tova to everyone today, and perhaps Patriot Day. A lot of us taking off coming up on September 10th, going into the 11th on Saturday. You got Yom Kippur next week. You got Sukkot the week after. And a bunch of holidays here, folks. So you might happen to see a slow market across the next few weeks. We'll see. All right, so we'll keep it going. See what else we got here. IFRX, cheapy at least, right? I mean, cheap stock, up big this morning. So it's hard to not put this on our list, but it's almost so stagnant here in pre-market. I'd rather cherry pick now at this point, see if there's anything moving a lot better. Thank you, Frank. I appreciate that. Archon ended up making a nice squeeze up after 8 a.m. We had called that out right off the pop, and since has kind of stalled out a bit. But this stock has been known to make a run up in the past, and when I say that, that's not day to day to day. It's really within the course of one day. I forgot about this move here actually, but aside from that, and perhaps that could be based off a common stock offering and then like a reverse stock split. But otherwise, I'm more so referring back to the beginning of 2021 and then 2020. A lot of these days where you see these bigger red bars, we ended up trading it at least in pre-market those days. So there was news out on Archon to expedite the process and to make sure I don't stutter here. I'm going to try and go through this meeting quickly. We'll put this stock definitely on our list. It's kind of pinned up underneath 350, 355. So we would need to see a lot of buying coming in off of those two price levels in particular in order for me to be led to believe it will continue to go up. All right, so let's see what else we got here, folks. What else we got? We got AEHR number 24, mile number 25. We'll get to that. So AEHR we'll put on our list still. I don't think there was any other news from this morning, but stock has been on fire the last really 2 weeks, really the last month and a half, of course, looking at the daily chart. But really the last 2 weeks, stock had popped from 6, pushed up to 8. Friday morning ended up making a move from 750 up to practically 9, ended up coming back down shortly afterwards. But now today another big run up, and also it is shortable. So if these stocks don't make a big move up, I know a lot of us would be more timid to try and short it, but I say that more for our level 3 traders and above, perhaps, our more experienced students that, are looking for opportunities. Well, hey, I say it all the time, right? If we happen to see a big support level break, if we happen to see a lot more selling leading into the final 28 minutes of the market open or 20 minutes of the market open, from that point, perhaps we'll try and look for a short. So those are things that we just kind of talk about within the phase 1, 2, and 3 classes here. Fausto just came off the phase 3 advanced class just last week, and we'll be continuing those classes coming up later on this month. All right, so AEHR on our list for right now. The mile trade I wanted to get to. I thought this was the one, right, that you folks did pretty well on. It was more from the morning, I guess. I missed out on this trade, but ended up making a big pop from 450 seemingly up to 5, and then got a little choppy, above 5 and at 5, but ended up continuing to go up a little bit more up towards 520. For right now, the stock is up 7.5% from yesterday's or from Friday's close. So for right now, it looks kind of interesting, but there's not much of a trend to it here so far. So this is where I'll say if you did really well on this stock back on Friday, then you know who you are. I'm sure this stock has good liquidity too. So when I say that more for the crazy movers out there. If you're a level 5 trader, you know who you are. But for this too, if you did pretty well on the stock back on Friday to wrap up the week, I'm sure that you're going to keep more of an eye to this stock compared to those of us that didn't. And that's totally fine. That's what you should be doing. All right, so we'll keep it going on the gainer side here, folks. My scanner is resetting there. See if there's anything else otherwise. Got a cheapie here up over 5%. AEI, I don't know what the chart looked like, but yeah, kind of range bound here, choppy. So for right now, we'll pass on this, but yeah, we'll see what else we got on the loser side, folks. If there's anything else that makes a big move up or down coming up over the next 5 or so minutes, just type it in the chat board early. Just let me see it in advance, and then we'll kind of finish up from there. All right, so Jaguar, JAGX. So I know one of us had a question on this trade in regards to remaining in the trade. They have a reverse stock split coming up, I believe. We'll talk about that in particular in Traders Talk. For right now, as a day trade for us right now, it's not really worth it. If you're stuck, like in a swing trade on this, again, we'll talk more about that coming up later on. A bunch of stuff hard to borrow otherwise. I'm just kind of just skimming through. Really, I don't really see much that's a familiar name. Anything down big or down enough that's shortable. This one's too expensive, $78. You could say, folks. That's it. I think that's pretty much all I got. I know Bitcoin made a big move over the last few days, so perhaps some of the Bitcoin mining related stocks could be moving, but I haven't seen much. Bitfarms, BITF. I'm sure it'll be tradable after the market opens. BTBT. Same deal, up 1.39%. We're trading near 400,000 shares in pre-market. That's active, but for right now, we'll keep them on the side list. I'm sure if we happen to see a squeeze up after the open, then we'll be calling them out. I'm checking out Benzinga Pro really quick, just looking at the ADTX stock here. Stock ended up making a big pop over the last week or 2 weeks. Then obviously looking at the daily chart, dumped all the way back down. Trying to get a push here, I reckon, but I want to see a lot more. So up 6+% here. If you want to follow it to start, go ahead, I guess, at your discretion. But for right now, we'll pass on this trade. All right, folks, I don't see much else. Looking at the Cyber Group room, looking at YouTube, I hope I didn't mess up and this whole stream has been muted the whole time. I hope that's not the case. I thought I was good to go there, but otherwise from John saying SBET. Yeah, I've seen that stock pop up over the last few days, perhaps, right? Yeah, last week popped up and then came back down, trading around there recently. Yeah, again, just side list stock. Not a whole lot happening right now in relation to the trend, but trading over 200,000 shares in pre-market and up 3.5% year. So if we happen to see a lot more direction on this trade after the open, perhaps, then we'll call it out. Yeah, KPLT definitely is one I'd be more interested in compared to a couple of the others, even that ADTX that I showed. So yeah, I'd rather at least put this on our list of those. We've done pretty well in KPLT over the last week straight, and then obviously right now making a strong push here in pre-market. All right, cool. So, folks, I'll tell you, hey, coming off Labor Day weekend, coming off any holiday weekend and end of the summer nonetheless, not everyone's back into the market right out the gate. So I like this. We don't need to force, a whole big list out there. There's a bunch of stocks that seem to be fairly active, but we'll wait on those at least after the first 5 or 10 minutes once the market opens up and then go from there. But for right now, I like this list here. We got 2, 4, 6, 8 stocks to work with so far. And then again, otherwise, for all of us live inside the trading room, I look forward to speaking to you folks coming up very shortly. And then especially coming up in our Traders Talk workshop. For all of us inside the YouTube Live or Facebook social streams for today, if you're interested in joining us in our Traders Talk workshop, our weekly Q&A that we host every Tuesday morning, feel more than free to join us by going right down to the link on the banner below just to get yourself started. But before doing that, though, if you want to send over a question for me to personally answer in that workshop coming up at 11 o'clock this morning, send the question right over to my email address. I actually had a couple from last week, but I don't think that they had joined us inside the trading room. So to be honest with you, I'm not going to answer them inside the workshop. If you're joining us, feel more than free to send over a quick question right to my email address, josh@ctutrading.com. Again, josh@ctutrading.com. All right. So for all of us live inside the trading room, Leda, Norman, John, Frank, Grant, got Michael, Martha, all of us otherwise, I look forward to speaking to you folks coming up pretty shortly, and we'll go from there. Take care.